Oh, viewers. Sometimes rare opportunities come on no budget reviews, and today is one of them. This is a 1991 Hyundai X2 Pony 1.3 LS. The X2 Pony, also known as the Hyundai XL and many other names, was at one point one of the best-selling cars in Canada. It was originally launched as just the Hyundai Pony in this country in 1985. This is a very heavily facelifted version, which were obviously so heavily facelifted they call it the X2. The original one from 85 that was the XL in a lot of the markets, the Mitsubishi Precy, was also called, was known as the X1 in retrospect. And the first generation Accent was known as the X3, so this sort of slots in between the two. There was a second facelift at the end of 1991, so this is an X2 pre-facelift, and then when that car came in, they just called it in this country the X2 without the Pony name. It was a car that lived in London for a lot of its life. It was rescued from behind a block of flats by Mr. Curry, who's had a vast number of cars on no budget reviews, including old Hyundais. Yes, 2 old Hyundais. Finding trim pieces of this car might prove a little difficult. The new owner's just got it actually. He lives quite close to me. He lives in a place called Hamble-the-Rice, which is where they used to film Howard's Way back in the day. I mean, this car sort of dates just after the end of Howard's Way production. For those of you who remember that kind of thing. It's actually in remarkably original condition. It's had some paint in various points, but we've still got the original dealer plates from 1991 on here, with the old 081, as in 081, 811, 8181, which is something I remember from my youth. But yeah, if it's a 3-door, you could get a 5-door and a 4-door as well. It is based on the same platform actually as the older Mitsubishi Colt, or actually the original Proton, the 1.3 or 1.5s, or MPI or Saga, if you want to use the Malaysian market name. Actually, it's got the same engine as that as well. The old 4G13 Mitsubishi engine, in this case at a 1.3 litre. The dashboard's sort of interesting. If you look at this, this is the sort of mid-spec car, the LS. There was one below this called the Sonnet, but instead of actually giving you a analog clock, in the space what a rev counter would be on the GSI models, they just have this bit there that says Hyundai. I think it's because we got a fancy digital clock up there, and so we didn't need 2 clocks, but it just looks a bit weird. Manual choke on this car. To be honest, there's something wrong with the carb on this, and it's not quite running right, so that choke lever is something I'm having to get very familiar with, and I'm having to pump it and things like that, which is yeah, just like in the old days. The rear wiper switch and washer on here actually on the dash, so clearly this is a car that maybe wasn't designed originally with this stalk here on the left to actually have rear wipers. A lot of the ones that would have been sold would have been saloons, and actually it's a push in there for the washer, which is interesting, rather than pulling it. We've got the standard stereo in here. Where is the eject button? Do you press both of them to eject it? Yes, you do. Kiss presents Lords of the Underground. Wonderful. Original Hyundai stereo, of course. Cigarette lighter or 12-volt socket, we would call it these days. There's the ashtray full of random stuff. Interesting sort of rotary heater controls, just like in a lot of old cars. The fan speed doesn't work below 3. I imagine the heater resistance needs changing or something. That'll just be probably a Mitsubishi part, I should think. We're still in the era where sort of Hyundai, you know, didn't really kind of make a lot of their own sort of bits. Still got a Mitsubishi platform and a Mitsubishi engine, much like the first generation Lantra, which you would have seen on No Budget Reviews a few weeks ago. That was only a year newer than this one, in '92. But yeah, just not really an awful lot to say. The trim's pretty good in this. I don't know what happened to that headrest. Got a pop-up sunroof, which I shall not be touching because I don't want Martino, who owns this car, would have to put duct tape on that. That wouldn't be very good. Got a windy windows. I think you had to go up to the GSI to get electric windows and the rev counter, which is probably missing in this car. And well, nothing here apart from the choke lever, just nothing. I imagine you've got things like fog lights there or something, I don't know, or electric mirrors possibly, which would be nice. No aircon in this car. You can see clearly where the aircon button probably would be, which would be about there, and some other markets would have had that, but not in this. Let's have a look at glove box. Ooh. I'm going to have to pause a second vids while I get my secret mission documents, because we might be in luck today. No viewers. It's just keep on happening to me. Right, let's try the door pocket. Yeah, I mean you could, but someone has decided that the best place on this enormous door to put that is where the window winder is, which I'm not sure is really the best in terms of ergonomics. Oh well. 5-speed manual in this car. You could get an automatic, I think, on the 1.5. Nice normal handbrake, coin holders, and cassette storage solutions. Oh, yes, please, viewers. Oh, yes. I'm far too excited, aren't I? I first became aware of this car when Mr. Curry picked it up at some point last year, or agreed to pick it up, and we've got Emergency on Planet Earth by Jamiroquai. Excellent. So it's been quite a while that I've been waiting to drive this, and I wasn't disappointed. We'll go for another drive in a bit, and we will see what it's like. As you can see, yes, the badging is X2 Pony is the way around you're supposed to do it. It's a bit faded though. Let's use the key, which we must not put in the boot, otherwise we won't be getting back into the car, and we'll have to walk home, which isn't too much fun. It's kind of a smaller boot than I was imagining. The sill height's quite good for a car like this, and you can see that they've clearly thought about the fact that if you don't have this indentation in the middle between the lights, that it's going to be very difficult to load. So loading up, no particular problem. I have to get to the side. There we go. See how solid it is underneath. This car's actually really, really solid. There's a spare tyre in the jack and everything, and an enormous shop manual for the Pony and Excel. It's very clearly that was designed for the American market. Let's make sure we've got the key in my pocket before we close the boot, close it zone. Going to run out of time, viewers. There we go, good. Yeah, where do you get boot struts for a 1991 Hyundai X2 Pony? Okay, let's open the bonnet and take a look at what lies beneath. So this is the 4G13 Mitsubishi engine, in this case developing around 71 horsepower. Similar engine to the one that used to be my old Proton 1.3 GLS, the MPI version of that. Also using Mitsubishi Colt this time. It's actually a very long-lived engine. I think the family's called the Orion engine, although Proton had loads of other names for it. That filler cap says Hyundai, but it's the same as your Mitsubishi ones and everything like that. Gearbox is on that side, a bit like a Honda D series engine. It turns the other way from many of the kind of European engines that would be around. But yeah, look how easy this is to work on. You can see the floor in various places. I mean, if you're very adventurous, you could probably climb in there, but you burn your leg on the exhaust manifold. So yeah, probably best not to do that. This one's only an 8-valve. They did make a 12-valve and 16-valve versions of, I think the 1.5 had those. This was also a 12-valve in the Protons, but this is just the 8-valve unit. It's got a cam belt. Just got to make sure you change that at the specified intervals. This car though has only done just short of 50,000 miles, so you know, overall it's not too bad actually for a car from 1991. It's honestly pretty good under here. There's the carb. Didn't get fuel injection across the range actually until August 1992. So it's good to actually drive something that you have to actually think about using the choke in. This should be all red. I don't know what's happened. At some point someone's painted this, and you can see the Hyundai logo here. I think that would have been a bit more prominent originally. I don't know what on earth has happened. Maybe the paint flaked off and someone decided to have a go at it, and because this is a London car, you can see at various times someone's had a go with some kind of paintbrush or something in an attempt to sort of smarten the bumpers up, but there we go, it's just sort of what happens. And then again, original dealer plates for the front, showing the pre-1995 telephone number. Right viewers, I better climb in the back, I suppose. Oh, is that all I get? Right. Dear. Ooh. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's alright once you're back here, it's just getting through that gap. I mean, you've got an ashtray and everything, and you've got even a lid storage compartment for all kinds of little things. We just realised actually this car's got green seat belts. Or just very faded. I don't know. Answer in the comment section below. Split folding seats, of course. We've actually got original parcel shelf still on this car. Nothing else really of any sort of excitement. And now I've just realised I've got to get out of here again. That's going to be fun. So the X2 Pony really only had two engines in this country. One was taken straight from the X1 Pony, this 1.3 litre. I think it had about 66 horsepower when it was in that, but by 1991 that had increased to about 72 horsepower. Then when the X2 actually came out, the 1.5 engine, which had been on a carb, which is the same one that they put into the very early Protons, that was actually upgraded with multi-point fuel injection, and that got around 85 horsepower, despite the fact that that is still an 8-valve unit, and by the time of this car's production, Proton had moved to a 12-valve unit. 1.3s don't actually have power steering, and having done some tight manoeuvring to get this car out of where it was kept earlier on, I definitely felt that, although it's not too bad, I've had worse. The trim levels available for the X2 Pony were S, it was only available on a 3 or 5 door hatch. The Sonnet was only available on a 3 door, which then replaced the S a little bit later. The LS, like that was available with all trim levels, and then the GSI, that was only available on the 5 door and the 4 door, and that was the top of the range one with all the bells and whistles, and with that 1.5 fuel injected engine. So to drive it feels very, very sort of Mitsubishi like a Proton does, because that's what they are. Gearbox same as in a Proton, and the sort of chassis engineering is very similar. It's very easy to drive, it's not really a problem. Certainly in comparison with, I don't know, a Kent engined Escort or Fiesta or something like that, it's a little bit easier to drive than that. Steering's nice and accurate. It's, you know, a very easy setup for a car with no power steering. Brakes feel okay. The drums on the back, of course. The visibility of the car is very, very good. It's very easy to sort of place it where you want it when you're manoeuvring. And for a car that's, well, 31 years old, the suspension's not even that warm, but then again it's only done about 50,000 miles, so that probably explains a lot of it too. Main thing I'm getting used to is just making sure I don't kind of let this thing die on me, which is often the case with cars that just need a bit of carburettor adjustment, and this is the case with this one. Considering it wasn't used between, we think, 2013 and 2022, it's actually not that bad. Certainly this 72 horsepower seems perfectly fine for driving around on most journeys. Obviously with 1.5 would be a bit better than this. But yes, it's quite pleasant really. You can see why, if somebody could entice you into the Hyundai showroom, but actually you might think that this is a better buy than something like a Fiesta, which would have cost about the same as this. Right, trying to draw some conclusions, I think. So viewers, what does my sunburnt face tell you about the Hyundai X2 Pony? Is this a car that you should consider with your hard-earned budget up to £1,000? Well, if you're not really in the habit of kind of wanting to find very rare trim pieces, and you know, you like stuff that is common, then this isn't really the car for you. However, if you like sort of early Korean engineering, you like the sort of unusual kind of feel of this car, and it gives you a certain amount of nostalgia, which I'm sure it does to many people actually, then this could be, you know, a good companion, particularly because it's got an engine which is shared with lots of other cars, and actually it's quite easy to drive, which was a surprise to me. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed for watching this episode of No Budget Reviews. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we'll see you again for more very reasonably priced motoring.